I'm going to assume that you already tried Saturn and the different signs, and you tried that Jinshinjutsu flow that I gave you in the previous video, and you liked it, and you had spectacular results and effects, and this is why you're circling back for part 2 of Saturn. So now I want to talk more about astrology. The previous video was about just an overview, quick, giving you an idea of what Saturn is, and mostly an energetic practice, which is the Jinshinjutsu practice. But today, it's going to be pure astrology. So Saturn stands for that break in your psyche that says, hold your horses, don't rush. A lot of times when we want to rush, we feel that Saturn as an obstruction, as like resistance. And after several rounds of that resistance and obstruction, we become battle scarred. It's like, oh, here again. And so the doubts come, the hypercritical state. And so this plays quite along in our life before we become aware, before you learn from astrology what Saturn does. Saturn is really a break. So once you understand that the break doesn't say don't go, it says hold on. There are some details here that we need to pay attention. There's a fine print. It's like signing a contract. Would you rush through signing a contract? No, it's gonna backfire. You're gonna miss something. You're gonna owe money. The conditions are gonna be wrong. You're gonna sign away something, your life, your firstborn child. So this is what Saturn says. It's a stickler for the rules, for the fine print. So Saturn says, hold on. Let's go slowly and see what happens. And then Saturn takes 29 years to circle around the sky. So I'm going to jump directly to the transiting Saturn. We'll circle back again to the Saturn in your natal chart. But once you know where Saturn is in your natal chart, you are ready to track it. It takes 29 years, so it's kind of very apt amount of time. Correlates to the pattern and the rate at which we build our life, material life in this material world. Around 14 and a half, 15 years of age, we all get into this teenage period where all of a sudden reality hits and kind of like comes down on us, and we realize, wait, I have to do something with my life. Before that, it was like we were children, we played, and now I have to get serious with my school, or perhaps I need to find job, and you find your summer job, or you sign up, or you find your internship, or you start studying for your SATs and start thinking majors in college. It doesn't matter which way you go, but there's some sobering up period that appears for most of us, for almost all of us, around 14, 15 years. And you know what? That's actually half the Saturnian cycle. So you are at, if you think of the sky as a clock, your Saturn position when you were born is your 12 o'clock. And so at 14, 15, the clock is now at the bottom of the hour. And so that is what the cycle is. And at the bottom of the hour, you're thinking, okay, now I need to really get serious. I need to start putting effort, because the next cycle, I'm gonna be building my skills and getting some results, visible, tangible results. If you do it right, and for Saturn, right means show up, be present. The opportunities are always there for you. And many times we just avoid them. We're fearful, we're resistant, it feels too much work. That's how Saturn feels. Like, do I really want to do it? All this work? Do I need to take up that responsibility? Well, if a responsibility shows up, presents itself, take it. That's how Saturn operates. It's not about who is clever. Saturn does not appreciate shortcuts. In fact, it punishes the shortcuts. Because when the clock goes all the way up to the top to your 12 o'clock, and that happens for all of us around 29 years of age, that's when Saturn, the Saturnian cycle, steps in and says, okay, let's see, did you cut corners? And that's when, if you cut corners, things don't look good. But if you were diligent, and remember, many times our school system, our life does not reward the quiet person who does their diligent homework, who shows up day in and day out until 29. And then all of a sudden life steps in and that person shines, and all the other get quick rich schemers start falling flat on their faces. Some of them are able to pull it off through sheer braggadocio or, brazenness. But this is not what I want to talk about. Yes, they are. We can see them on TV in politics. That is not my point. My point is that for the rest of us who have opted to play the game with integrity, when you hit age 29, you get the cosmic reward card. And the most stark example I have seen is Will Smith. If you go back to 2022, I think somewhere there, where there was that big fiasco, him slapping Chris Rock during the Academy Awards, there was a lot of talk that the Academy will take back the award that they had just awarded to Will Smith on account of his misbehavior during the ceremony. But you know what? He did not lose the award. And the reason why, in my opinion, is because that award was coming on the heels of decades of him showing up and doing his work. He's a talented actor. He has done tremendous work. And he's a musician. And so you can see that talent and hard work, perseverance, showing up day in, day out. Regardless of whether you like him or not, or what he did and what he shouldn't have done, this is the best example about Saturn. You showed up day in and day out. You're not gonna lose your reward because you had one bleep during the Academy Awards. Yes, he lost some part of his reputation. People crucified him. He had to go back, but the award remained, and the recognition of his talent there too. And several years later, he has been able to come back because, again, Saturn is about showing up. And so for all of us, it happens at the age of 29. And that is when Saturn comes and starts shaking up your life to see how solid you have built. Anywhere where you cut corners, it falls through. But if you showed up and you did your work, and put your effort, Saturn will give you a clean slate, a reward, and a clean slate to start something new. So for a couple of years after that, you're kind of riding a high tide, feeling good, but at the same time, it's a little bit confusing and disorienting what I want to do with myself. So if you find yourself somewhere around that age, think about Saturn return. And so take that time to reflect of what you have done so far and which part of that you want to carry on onto a new life, onto a new project. For those who have worked hard and got a good report card, the downside of this cosmic time at 29 years of age is to be tempted to keep going the way you have, because it has served you so well. So watch and pay attention. You are invited to let go, and if you don't let go voluntarily, Saturn actually can drag it out, remove it forcefully because it doesn't serve you anymore. Take the award and take some sabbatical to reflect and decide on what you want to do in the next 29 years.